Hi, this is Alex Epstein. Before you listen to this week's episode of the Human Flourishing Project, I just want to warn you that throughout the episode, I make a certain mistake when I'm referencing a URL. The URL that I reference should be tinyrl.com/trulygreatcontent3. tinyrl.com/trulygreatcontent3. In the episode, I repeatedly say number 2, and that will direct you to nowhere good. Thanks to my assistant Kelso for catching the mistake. Again, it's http://tinyrl.com/trulygreatcontent3. Welcome to the Human Flourishing Project. I'm your host, Alex Epstein. On today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the search for truly great content, part 2. So several weeks ago, maybe a month ago, maybe even more, I had an episode called The Search for Truly Great Content. And the premise of the episode was that in life, when we're looking at different subjects, whether nutrition, psychology, politics, energy, which happens to be one I'm interested in, there are just usually a few really great thinkers whose content is way better than everyone else's. And I'm very, very interested in how do I find the best thinking on different topics. And ideally, from my perspective, what I want is for any given issue, I want the best thinking from multiple perspectives. Because when I see the best thinking from different perspectives, then I get a really strong idea of, or at least an ability to gauge, okay, what is really the truth on this? What advice should I follow? What has the best chance of being really good advice to follow? So what I did is I created a survey, and thank the dozens of you at least who filled it out. And we got some really interesting results when I asked who can recommend some truly great content. Now, a couple of things I learned from this experience. So number one is just that this is a really good exercise to do because I got some really good recommendations from it. And there were some really fascinating topics that people cover. I mean, one had to do with cleaning gold jewelry, which I just thought that is really fascinating that somebody has really strong opinions. And I thought, well, I don't have any gold jewelry, but maybe I'll recommend that my girlfriend go to it. It looked like really interesting recommendations on gold jewelry. So I felt really vindicated by this experiment. And part of that is just I have really good listeners to this show. So many of you are thoughtful people and you're likely to have good recommendations. But then I decided, okay, there are some things that weren't the greatest with the survey. And so one was that I did not collect names and email addresses. And I wanted to do that for anonymity, but then I realized there's no way to send you the results or to thank you. And really what I would like to do that I think would work best is for people who do fill out the survey, I would like to share everyone's answers with each other. So if you fill out the survey, I want you to see the answers of other people who filled out the survey. But if you don't fill out the survey, then I want you to be left in the dark as incentive for you to fill out the survey. So that's one thing. So I'm going to tell you about a new survey in a minute. But there's another thing as well, which is that in a couple of instances, maybe just 2, in addition to telling me, I think this is a great resource, whether it's a book or podcast or whatever, people gave their reason why. And I just, as soon as I saw that, I thought, oh, we got to ask for this in the survey, because it's one thing to get a recommendation of something and somebody says, oh, this is great. Just they're saying this is truly great content. But it's another thing to get even a sentence as to why, because then I get a real sense of why you think it's valuable, what it's about, how it might be different from other things that I've encountered in the past. So in this version of the survey, I'm encouraging everybody to give a reason why they recommend something. And also I'm adding a website field so that it's easy to find something. And it can be any kind of resource. It could be a website that has an online course on it. It can be an Amazon link, whatever. So here's the way the new survey works. And then I'll give you the address. Or I'll give you the address first, actually. Just go to tinyrl.com/trulygreatcontent2. the number 2. So tinyurl.com/trulygreatcontent2, as in the number 2. The old one was just Truly Great Content, but don't do that one. Do this one, because if you do this one, then once we get a bunch of recommendations, and we've already gotten some and they've been really interesting, then we'll share the recommendations of everyone with everyone who gave a recommendation. So again, it's tinyurl.com/trulygreatcontent2, as in the number 2, not TWO. That will not work well. So tinyurl.com/trulygreatcontent2. And I'm really excited to see all of the different recommendations, because again, the first round we got a lot of good ones, but some of them I had no idea what they were about. So the ones I looked into were good, or a lot of them were good, but some of them were not, or I just had no context and there were too many. So here, what I found, even with the ones that have already come in, I have a really good idea of, I should look into this. One that strikes me, although it's already on something I know, is somebody recommended a really good, I think, an hour-long interview with Julian Simon. I think the person's recommendation was about good ways of thinking about resources. Like, that was the issue that they picked. And I should say, one other aspect of the survey this time is that instead of having you give one recommendation for one issue, the idea is take an issue that you're really passionate about and try to give your top 5. Try to give 5 pieces of truly great content on the issue, and then give your reasons why. And that we've noticed it definitely takes longer, so it's taking people maybe 10 minutes to do the survey, but the outcome is really good. And I promise you, if you fill out the survey, you're going to get a lot of really cool recommendations from other people. And you're going to get recommendations that you can't find anywhere else, because right now there's nothing on the web that is that optimized for quality across any significant variety of subjects. Just for a whole bunch of reasons, the way the web works is that things are optimized for quantity, for salaciousness, for offensiveness, for tribal affinity, for advertising. But it's really, really hard to find great thinking on a given topic. And so this is a little cheat that I've come up with, which so far has been good, and I think with the new survey will be great. So that address again is tinyurl.com/trulygreatcontent2. So that's the main subject today, another short show, but I have one more topic that I want to talk about. And this is a continuation of another episode, another topic, and that's the topic which I call the Playtime Planner. And I forget if the episode was called the Playtime Planner, but Playtime Planner is my name for a tool that I've been developing for myself to plan my playtime, as in my non-work time, my non-creative time. And the motivation for this is that I've found that I'm not as good at planning that time. And when I do plan it well, when I select activities I'm really going to enjoy, it's great. But then when I don't, I sometimes will go into the weekend and think, what do I want to do this weekend? And then I really feel, I don't feel good, because I feel, oh gosh, there's so much to do in life, and life is so finite. And yet I have no idea what I'm even planning to do. So for whatever reason, this has been a challenge for me, just to really make the most of playtime. And it's something I've thought a lot about. So I have a recent iteration to the Playtime Planner, to my Playtime Planner, which I've found effective. And this is a simple one, but I've found it to be an effective device. So here's what I've done. To my Playtime Planner, I've added something I call the 8+ activities list, 8+ activities list. And the idea of 8+ is just on a scale of 1 to 10, what do I expect to enjoy at least an 8+? I like the idea of 8 because it's really high. It's not 10, so just, nothing qualifies, or it's really hard to find something. But it means I really am going to want to do this. And then there are lots of things that I could do and that I've spent weekends doing that are definitely not an 8+, because there aren't that many things that I enjoy doing that much, but there are quite a few. And when I started thinking this way, it was really helpful, because it just created this filter in my mind where I thought, for instance, with some of them are very few, but some are TV shows. I think, okay, what TV shows would I like at an 8+? And then I thought, okay, well, the show, at least right now, I am, forgive me if people aren't fans of this, but like I am eager at an 8+ to see the new episodes of Game of Thrones. I haven't seen all the episodes of all the seasons, but I got in at season 7 and I saw some of the finales of previous seasons, and so I am curious to see what happens, and I like some of the characters, so I want to see. Okay, so that's an 8+. I am excited this Sunday to see that. So I think, okay, yeah, and then I think, okay, there are certain. But then there are plenty of shows where I think, yeah, I'm not at an 8+ with this. That's a 6. And then why should I spend my life watching a 6? Why should I even plan to watch a 6? I don't have that much time in life, that much time to watch TV that I want to sit around watching a 6. If I'm watching a 6, it's just because I'm not being very intentional. I'm not being clear about what I really like. And then, so that's just one category. But another benefit of just having 8+ is just identifying, okay, what categories will I tend to enjoy at an 8+. And for me, I guess 8+ sounds like A+, which can be a little bit confusing. But on the page, it's not at all confusing, because an 8 does not look very much like an A. So for me, an interesting category has been reading, because I really like reading, but for interesting reasons, I have trouble admitting that I like reading. Maybe just because I have associations from when I was a kid with reading as being nerdy or reading not as being fun. But I love reading because reading is just a great source of ideas, and I get really excited by finding new, interesting ideas. So then when I was ranking things as 8+, I was thinking, oh wow, there's a lot of reading that I want to do that would be a great use of my time. Another thing for me is I really like watching jiu-jitsu instructional videos. Now that's a pretty narrow interest, but I really do like doing that, and I find that fascinating. But interestingly, I don't like at an 8+ usually watching jiu-jitsu tournaments. And I don't like it in 8+ usually most of a UFC event, that's Ultimate Fighting Championship, but I occasionally like, the title fight if it's an interesting title fight. And there are a couple of interesting fights this weekend, so I might just watch those. So I find that it's really interesting. Okay, so there are just certain things that, like, even one-wheeling. One-wheeling is kind of always good, but in particular, one-wheeling downhill is really, really fun. Or like finding a big, like, grassy or dirt hill and going down like a snowboard. That's particularly fun. And then I asked my assistant about trails, and then he pointed out, oh yeah, we've got one in the area. We've got the Salt Creek area in our area, and I was like, oh, that's totally an 8+ for one-wheeling. So even deciding to go on a one-wheel ride, that's a good standard. So, and then it also motivates me to do things that I wouldn't otherwise do, like NBA playoffs, certain kinds of playoff games I would put at an 8+. I've probably mentioned on this show, I really like magic shows. I really like amusement parks. And so that makes me think, oh, maybe I can figure out a way to more regularly go to the amusement park and roller coasters, because that's just a very, very consistent kind of thing. And at the same time, I think of a bunch of other things where I think, yeah, this would not be, this is okay, but it's not really okay. And this, one of the things that I've discussed on the show is just opportunity cost, that you have to think about not just what is this worth doing in some general sense, but is this worth doing with my very finite time as against everything else that I could do. And I find that the 8+ test is a really good test. So hope that helps some of you. Maybe you'll make your own 8+ list. And a particularly fun thing that I tried, which I'd recommend also if you have a partner, is identify the items on your 8+ list that you can do with your partner, or that that you can do together. Sometimes you can just do them in the same room, and then get them to make a list and see where your overlap is. And that way you're going to not only be with somebody you enjoy being with, but then you're going to be doing activities that you really enjoy doing. So not to venture into romantic advice, as this is not at all my area of expertise, but that seems like a pretty obviously good recommendation if the 8+ recommendation is a good recommendation. So biggest takeaway from today is go do the Truly Great Content survey. tinyurl.com/trulygreatcontent2, as in the number 2. And also try an 8+ list. So identify activities that you could do during your playtime that you expect to enjoy at least an 8 out of 10. Make a list of those, share them with a partner if relevant, and go have fun. I'm looking forward to this weekend. I hope that you enjoy yours. I'll be back next week. Not sure about the topic, but it'll be about human flourishing. Until then, I'm Alex Epstein. This has been the Human Flourishing Project. Except I forgot. I spoke too soon. I have to remind you in terms of a couple of things. So there's just the website. Make sure to go to the website if you want to be on our weekly email list. That's http //humanflourishingproject.com. Facebook page is facebook.com/humanflourishingproject. And if you have any questions, comments, love mail, or hate mail, you can email me at alex@alexepstein.com. Okay, now we are done for real. Until next time, I'm Alex Epstein. This has been the Human Flourishing Project. Hi, this is Alex Epstein again. In case you missed the warning or forgot the warning at the beginning of the episode, I want to just say again that the proper link for the survey is tinyurl.com/trulygreatcontent3. So again, that's tinyurl.com/trulygreatcontent3. Unfortunately, 2, which I referenced many times, doesn't work at all, but tinyurl.com/trulygreatcontent3 will work very well, and I promise if you fill out the survey, it'll be worth it.